Local 3 Sports with Jake Durant.
What happens when an athlete is forced to sacrifice the sport they love in order to save their life? I met up with a Marquette runner who shares with us his experience tonight. Derek Lindstrom's passion for running was cultivated during his time as a multi-sport athlete at Marquette Senior High School. Shortly after graduating in 1981, Lindstrom ran his first marathon. Lindstrom's running journey took him all over the U.S., running in major cities such as Chicago, New York, and even the Boston Marathon, which he qualified for 33 years in a row. But it was a race in the UP he talks about the most.
For years, my favorite race was the Big Bay Relay from Marquette to Big Bay, and I was lucky enough to be on the winning team 17 times and 14 times in a row.
In March 2018, Lindstrom's life changed after he suffered a stroke. While in the hospital, a more serious diagnosis was discovered. On the outside, Lindstrom looked every bit of the Ironman that he was, but inside his heart was weak. He was going into heart failure.
And it just felt like I lost my identity on who I was, coaching athletes, racing, stuff like that. I was just lost on what I should be doing and the whys, why me kind of thing, which, everybody's got a journey, so it was just my turn.
Since his diagnosis over 4 years ago, Lindstrom says he's dodged many bullets, coming close to death on several occasions.
Whether it be clots stuck in my arm or, one time in my leg, which are always scary. Twice where I've flatlined and I have a defibrillator that, zapped me back to life. That last one in March was, I honestly don't know how I survived that one. There was 9 staples in my head and stuff.
Rather than slow down to try to avoid death, Lindstrom says he will not stop moving.
Well, first of all, it's hard to wrap my mind around not racing anymore, because that was truly a passion for close to 40 years. I just craved being at a start line of, frankly, anything. It could be a 5K trail run, it could be an ultra marathon, it could be a bike race. I loved competing, and I loved seeing, how hard I could push myself, and whatnot. So that's been hard.
Lindstrom will need a heart transplant in order to prolong his life. He says the very passion that has kept him fit his whole life is a big reason why he's unable to get on the transplant list today.
It's an interesting double-edged sword that, I'm transplant worthy. I'm still too fit. If I wasn't fit, I'd be, transplant list. So do you stay fit and stay off the list, because that is the journey? Or do you slow down, become out of shape, get on the list quicker?
With his heart working at only 15% of its capacity, Lindstrom is unable to run like he used to. He still does have the strength and stamina to hike, which is an activity that has filled the void.
I don't want to stop living life. I don't want to sit back and not do this, not come here. And I could. I've got probably a bigger excuse than most people. No, this is, tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us, and I can't imagine not doing this.
Despite not being able to run like he used to, Lindstrom stays heavily involved in the sport as a race director. He helps put on races through Wisconsin and the UP, such as the Queen City Half Marathon and Marquette Marathon, to name a few. And while it's not Lindstrom crossing the finish line at this time, he says he still gets excited watching runners push themselves to their limits and conquer the distance.
That is my happy place, and to watch somebody crush a race for, that's different for everybody, it's pretty amazing. It's very fulfilling. It's a lot of work to put on a race, but it's wonderful.
With tens of thousands of people awaiting a transplant right now, Lindstrom has made it his mission to raise awareness of the lack of organ donors.
It's something I don't understand. I don't know why somebody would not be. They've made it so easy, and checking a box on a driver's license, you're an organ donor. I don't get it. I really don't.
For now, Lindstrom travels weekly to Milwaukee for testing, while waiting on the day he's able to get his transplant. If he's not there, you can probably find him on a trail heading up Hogback Mountain, a trek he only became aware of a few years ago thanks to a friend who took him there.
It's stunning here. It truly, as you can see, I can see from Big Bay to Harvey. I mean, and sometimes when I come up here, I come up, I turn around and go back. Sometimes I come up here and I sit for an hour and a half and work, reflect, drink a Bloody Mary, whatever happens to, whatever the day happens to bring, and it's, not that I would, but I just, hypothetically.
And when he finally does get that call,
first thing I think about is, what marathon am I going to sign up for?
Thank you, Jake.